Speaking of the rising tides, though, what are your like macro thoughts on trade fi going into this year with what the Fed's going to have to do later on in terms of rates and S&P almost back up to all-time highs? 'Cause that's
Mm,
one thing that's scaring me is if market gets spooked, I don't think Bitcoin's just going to decouple.
yeah. I mean, I think you're going to get rate cuts. I don't think it's going to be what people actually think when it's going to come second half of the year. Um, it'll be interesting if it happens around the halving.
Yeah. I mean, I
These
know I
don't
know
tend to match up, like just the way risk trades, because this is a risk asset. I mean, I don't care what.
yes.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't paid too much attention to it, and I probably should. Like,
Lost your
listening.
screen if you quit sharing.
Oh, did it? Uh, hold on. Let me try resharing. What happened was my computer went off because I probably hadn't touched it, but like the screen went off.
That's fine.
Here we go. Hold on. I mean, last CPI print wasn't like amazing, um, if I recall, but I haven't really paid attention to macro too much, to be honest.
That's fair. I'm not exposed, so I'm just waiting.
I've started to see those like you will probably have to pay attention to it at some point, but you noticed like everyone was talking about the dollar, everyone like that last year's playbook trying to use that this year and had to trade it didn't work, right? I kind of think markets can just like chop too for a bit because like we did just go up a lot, like, and are we going to start the year and just continue to rip on traditional assets? I mean, anything can happen. I haven't looked at like this is oil here. Is this where? Okay, so S&P. Let's look. Yeah. So I mean, look at this thing. This looks like this is going to go to new highs. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're now consolidating like basically, is this just the same like December timeframe? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. This looks like it can continue to break up. There's got to be like a reason for it to go down. So if people are anticipating rate cuts and valuations aren't out of control on things, I mean, inflation's not an issue anymore, really. It might not go down at the rate it did, but it's not going to bother people as much, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So if the data is just getting better slower now, it doesn't necessarily mean that price should go down, because the market's forward looking. And so if it's anticipating it to continue to go down or rates to come down, maybe it's just a slower rate, um, then I don't know. It could maybe just kind of consolidates, chops around, but still grinds up. I mean, is the dollar like doing anything that would make it look like a crazy move is coming?
The one thing I've seen pick up lately, because there is perma bears all over TradeFi Twitter, but is the yield curve inversion. I'm
Oh
starting
yeah,
to see that talk more and more and more, so I'm at least starting to listen um, to
those
it.
are.
But it's one of those things where it's like, let it invert and let me see what happens. I'm okay playing
Yeah,
this slowly.
I mean, oil's just sitting at like $73. Like commodities aren't doing anything crazy where like inflation fears come back. I don't know. I don't have that big of an opinion on macro right now because I haven't been paying attention to it. I've been just trying to figure out like more narrative driven stuff in crypto and like understanding that the market is an ebb and flow of a tide. It's going to go up and down. But if you have, you know, Do you think 2024 is going to be a year for growth in some particular sectors, like real world assets, whatever, gaming, maybe that's coming too, like second half of the year? Then focusing your time and energy on those things is probably better. But yeah, I mean,
Well, this is the thing. Like we're we
these
sp- we
charts don't look bearish. Okay, that's the one thing. The S&P and the Nasdaq. Like this looks like it just wants to keep going, right? And
Mhm.
if it rips and then trades back in, then all right, look, but like you've been following the trend on this thing since November 2nd, basically. Yeah. Kijun, Tenkin, now it's trending. And that's also pretty much in line with how crypto traded. If you look at when things really started to pop off, maybe it was like late October, November, and then we've gone straight up, right?
Mhm.
Like so they kind of actually trade very in line with each other. Maybe it's just like different points of time where they correct, but that we have basically trended up on Nasdaq, S&P, Bitcoin, ETH, lots of altcoins on the same period of time.
I gotta ask you about the banks though. You have a bank chart up.
Oh, which
Think
one?
this
First,
First Republic. You think we're gonna lose any more banks?
not really. And that chart was up there just because uh, it's on my laptop and my office computer is different. I don't really look at this thing, but I think the bank fears are that happened, and that is I don't I don't see it like something happening like near term really at all. Why do you?
No, I know we blew up a bunch of them, and
Yeah, I mean the regional bank trade helped to propel crypto up, right?
yeah, yeah.
So are you going to see that happen again? I don't think so. There's a lot of things that happen that like probably don't resurface for a pretty long time, in my opinion.